tell us about the DRE composite course and how did you start that, and you know, what does it entail? And
well, it's a very interesting story, right? So I've told this story a few times, but I mean, I'll tell it again just for you.
yeah.
But I was again, like, so now I've graduated, and then, you know, I've been in a few mixed practices, and then, you know, you're in the NHS and you're doing all these UDAs, and I started looking
like
at
a
my
hamster
life.
wheel.
Oh God, I started questioning life itself, you know. And funny enough, imagine, right, during my whole army time, I was never a drinker. I was never like a party boy or anything like that. I was just really into my training.
Of course. With that, you've got to be.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, my friends certainly did. I mean, they you know, they'd be drunk a lot, right? But I just never got into it. It just never was my thing, right? I just really was disciplined at that
Point.
But then as soon as I graduated and the army was out of my life now, yeah, I hit the bottle pretty hard. I was partying regularly, you know, and then you're chasing these superfluous things like, you know, people saying, oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he's got a lovely car. You know, all this rubbish, materialistic stuff, right? But that really got to my head as well. Yeah, exactly, external. And I was just running away from dentistry, really. I was doing Monday to Friday, doing it, and then Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday night. You know, you're just escapism at its finest. So I was struggling, and then I actually tried to leave dentistry. Right? This was about 2017, and I heard of this thing called Bitcoin. And I said, you know what? And I was watching all these videos and all this shit, and I thought, you know, I could be a trader. So I actually gave it a good old go.
Wow.
I gave it a really good old go. And in 1 year, I made $250,000.
Oh,
right?
my goodness.
Cold cash, right?
Incredible.
And I thought I was a genius. I thought I was so smart. And then the following year, the market crashed. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just watched it all go back to, you know, my injury, right?
Wow.
Which was incredibly painful, as you can imagine. Then I realised, oh shit, maybe I am a dentist. You know, and the bills started accumulating. Then I started realising, shit, I was rich and now I'm not. Well, I mean, you know, small fortune, right? It's a big amount of money to most people. So back to dentistry I went, and then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm really going to hit it hard. I'm going to hit education pretty hard. Because I never wanted it to be where I hated dentistry, but I never gave it my all. That doesn't make sense either, right? Because then really I've only got myself to blame. So I did all this CPD. I think I did over 200 hours in 1 year. Like, I was on it.
Wow.
Everything, you name it, right? Endo, bros, this, just trying to find my feet. Like, what do I like to do? I did all this stuff and then realised I didn't like implants. I was all right at it. I could, you know, you show me how to do something, I can pretty much do it, right? After a bit of tell show do. You can do it, right? You can do it. Anyone can do it after a bit of training. We're not stupid, right? Dentists are pretty switched on. But none of it was a fit for me. And then, you know, even restorative, I kind of liked composite, but again, it was a bit hit and miss for me. Like, I really liked what he could do. I thought it was such a cool thing. You could, like, build a tooth up rather than cut it down. I thought it was really quite cool. Just couldn't get it to really, I couldn't just be consistent enough. And then 2018, that same year, I found the Greater Curve matrix system, right? And I was browsing the internet, Dental Times, like a big American forum, and I thought, oh, Americans are cutting edge. They must know better, you know? So I went on there. And I wasn't having good luck with sectionals and all the rest of it, right? It just wasn't a fit for me. And then I found this thing and I saw these cases and I saw this guy posting online called Owen's Dent, and he was like the guy who made it and all the rest of it. And he was putting cases that are just mind-blowing. So I got my hands on it and started giving it a go, and I thought, shit, it can't be this easy. Oh, excuse my French. But I thought it can't be this easy. And lo and behold, you know, MODs, Class 5s, you name it, they all become pretty routine. It was like my little secret, so I didn't tell no one. And I just started practicing and getting better with it and better with it. And my frustration started to dissipate, and I started to really like dentistry again. I thought, oh my God, this is like it's really quite simple. And carried on using it. Then about 2020, I heard Dr. Brown, the inventor of it, on a podcast. Again, the Dental Town guy, Howard Fram.
He's from Ohio, right?
Correct, yeah, he's from the States, right? And so I heard him on his podcast, and he was talking about all these problems that we face, right? Like MODs, like one side would be light, one side would be heavy, you know, like a good contact and light contact, or like, you know, difficulties restoring short teeth or long teeth, or, you know, just loads of stuff, right, that I was just encountering. And he was talking about how, you know, we approach composite in a much the same way we did amalgam, you know, put the matrix on, wedge the teeth, blah, blah, blah. But it just doesn't work for composite. It's not the same at all. It's really quite different. Then you're hoping that you take the wedge out and it all comes back together and it meets, right? With amalgam, you've got a little bit of give. Quite literally,
it's
and
almost
figuratively.
easier.
It is easier. It's a bit idiot-proof.
More forgiving.
Yeah. Whereas composite is super meticulous, right? And he's talking about all this stuff, and then he jumps on and says, you know, watch this. He goes, I do most of my dentistry without a rubber dam. And that's when he had me. I was like, what? Oh my God, like, what's this? I was just baffled, right? Because everyone tells you if there's no rubber dam, it's illegal almost, you know? And I was really curious. So I emailed him. We started talking, I started sharing cases. I said, look, I'm getting stuck here, like, what's going on? Then he started showing me all these little tips and tricks that he knew. Obviously, he's been using it for a long time. He created it, the first inception, in 1996. And it only became a fully fledged company in 2006. And then from that point on, they've had year-on-year increase in sales. 2008 recession to them was like, what recession? You know, their sales just carried on because it just does what it says on the tin.
Going and going.
does what it says on tin. So he started mentoring me, training me, and that's when just my career took,
Did you go to the States?
No, all through Zoom.
Wow, that's
Can you
amazing.
imagine?
Shows you what you can do.
Well, he's a great teacher. I
That's
think
one of his callings.
he's a great teacher. Yeah, he's a great teacher. Very, very giving person. Right. So I actually reckon if it was even on the telephone, he could have he could have explained it to me. And interestingly, I think something we had a bit of a bond and a communication kind of link. We really understood each other because he was in the Vietnam War.
Wow.
So the way in which he communicates is very like
Has an army.
well
thing
direct.
to
He's just
it.
very clear, concise, to the point. Not wishy washy. Like sometimes you get people who have good intentions, but they feel
He's very clear.
he's super clear. He's super clear, and that's how I'm really receptive to that style. And yeah, the rest is history, right? So then it landed in last year, about Octoberish time. We're on a call, we're talking. I'm like, I call him Denny, right? Because he says to me, "Don't call me Dr. Brown. Don't call me Dennis, call me Denny." That's what his friends call him. I said, Denny. I said, we got to teach this. Like people got to learn this because they're not really getting the most
Got
out of
to
this
spread
system.
the word.
Yeah, because you can buy the Matrix and look at the pamphlet and all the rest of it, but you'll give up because there's lots of frustrations, like I had, right? And then I said to him, like, we've got to teach this. I said, I want to teach it. And he goes, you know what? I want you to teach it too. And the rest is history.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so then we made Dre. Well, I made Dre, Direct Store of Excellence. One of my good pals actually came up with the name because he actually loves Dr. Dre, right? And he was driving home one day listening to Dr. Dre, and he calls me up and he goes, I found the name for the course. And he says to me, Dre, Direct Store of Excellence. And yeah, that's it. We've just been running in that direction ever since.
It's funny, actually. We use the headphones in our practice for patients while they're having treatment. They're brilliant.
There you go. There you go. We're not affiliated, by the way, just in case there's some sort of copyright infringement, right?